Hi guys, Wanko713. I'm gonna show you how to do some mob abilities. I can't really give away code for certain stuff, but I can just show you the general basis of how to do mob abilities. So you can do that yourself. And then there's a important thing that BW King 16 forgot to cover for quests. So I'm gonna show you how to do both of those things.
Zombie apocalypse.
So if you remember from part one, um, this is what I showed you. The first thing though is quests. So if I go to places, you can make a new universe. Simple as that. But you see this quest NPC. There's something that they don't tell you, but if you notice with the quests, the data is actually saved within the NPCs. So you would actually have to copy the NPC over to every place to sync the quest. So if you don't have this NPC, this is universe one, right? Okay, universe one and universe two is right here, and you didn't have this NPC. Um, if you played, the quest would just be reset. The data would be reset. I mean, obviously, it would still recognize if you completed the request and whatnot, but it wouldn't save your progress. So the way to do that is under replicated storage, and under um, assets, you're going to make a new folder and you're going to call it quests. So what this does is it makes the NPC invisible. So if I take so if I take this NPC and I move it, I'm just going to copy and paste it, Control C, Control V, right? Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that normally, but this quest right here, this so like obviously you have the NPC folder with the quest. You're gonna put, if let's say this is universe one, this NPC is in universe one, right? In the place that represents universe one, you're gonna just put it in NPCs. But in universe two or other ones, you're gonna put that NPC in quests. This way, if they go to universe two and you're in the middle of the quest for universe one, it won't wipe the progress. And likewise, for the hub and all that, you just put that in quests. Simple as that. Um, Now for the abilities, I'm going to go ahead and delete this though, just because, but you're going to put this in replicated storage and assets. It's in the kit. Trust me, it works. Um, Now for the abilities, I'm going to go ahead and delete this though, just because, but you're going to put this in replicated storage and assets. It's in the kit. Trust me, it works. Um, the next thing is mob abilities. So if you look under modules, entity, and then attack functions, you'll notice default right here. So if you want a mob to do ability, this is um, you have to let's look for a mob real quick. I'm gonna say okay, pirate goblin. We're gonna make a new mob, and we're gonna call this mob let's. It's gonna kind of sound stupid, but okay, ability goblin, and then you can actually have the ability to you can actually specify the damage, and you can even do if you play my game, you know it as karmic retribution, KR. The reason I call it that is because it kind of damages you like Sands and Undertale. But if I go to ability goblin and mob config, you'll notice right here, where is it? Right here, you can set this to true. If you set this to true, it will use the default one. But the problem is if you have your own. Like you would do strings and say like goblin, right? The problem with that is it won't work right away. So what you have to do is in the ability, it's been a while, but I figured this out. You have to go under attack functions and see right here where it says, library.module.name. This is where the initial problem is. So you have to change it. Um, you see the mobconfig.name, that's not going to work. So what you want to do is you want to change this right here to mob.config.attackCycle. What this will do is now if I make a new ability and I set it to this name, it will work exactly what it did. It's just an error in the code. But if you change it to that, there was another thing too. Um, Let me just figure it out. But there's a part with like mob. I think it might be in the same place, but you want to change it to mob.instance. Yeah, when you're doing abilities and you're trying to like reference the mob, ins instead of like mob.humanoid root part, okay, that this is what it is. So when you're doing if you're trying to get the like position so that if you're trying to get like the mob position, you can't just say mob.humanoid root part in the callback function. I'll explain it. It just took me a while to do that. All right. So I know in my game you see the dialogues. I made that a separate class, and that's something you're not getting for free. But it's very easy. You can just all I did to make the mob talk though was I kind of just defined a GUI and just specified it to be above their head. I just played around with the gimmicks, and then I made a script that a like mob talk script, and then it's like a function, and I call it in the abilities, and then it displays above the mob. I think that may have been where I used mob.instance as well. But anyway, this is the default. So what it does is you'll want to run. Okay, this is actually not how I did it, the abilities, but or actually, yeah, I left this part alone right here. This is how you get the player torso, and then you have you have the mob list right here. These are the like different modules. But right here, this is a telegraph color. So what a telegraph is exactly is the telegraph will warn of when you code a telegraph, there's functions in here. And actually, if you go to attack utils under server, you can actually define your own functions. That this is how I was able to get the mobs to spawn. Made a spawn function and a destroy function, and then using elements I cannot share because I don't want because I had to do a lot of coding. Um, but you see, these are like built-in ones so that there's damage, but you see, register hit detection is what you want for damage. For KR damage, you just do the regular humanoid. You can get like ChatGPT to write that or whatever, because that's general Roblox code. But that's the KR damage. But yeah, so this right here, you specify the telegraph color, and that's going to be in the function. Right here, this bracket specifically, that is an ability. So the way the ability works is the it goes through a cycle. So if I go to the bottom, I'm going to start with the bottom first. So requires target means that it has to be currently chasing after a player. If it's set to true, then that means it will only activate this ability if it finds a player to do it. If it's set to false, it will just execute the ability as long as it's there. Um, so you can have like a passive ability, like a heal, right, where you don't need the player to be nearby. So stop while attacking, what it does is it actually the mob will still do an attack initially, but it will stop moving um when this ability, like when it executes the above code right here, it stops moving for this many seconds before doing the ability. Now for telegraph, I didn't really experiment with this one, but it does actually tell you exactly what you want to put here. So where it says nil, you want to put this array right here, this table, this list. um so basically when it does the ability, you can have it play an animation, a mob animation. Now, here's the big thing I want to talk about right here. So this is um this is what will throw a lot of people off when they look at this. This actually does not mean the activation for this ability. So if you have multiple abilities, so like you could easily just copy and paste this and make a second ability right under, right? And you just copy and paste this and you have another ability. But the way it works is this is the activation time for the next ability. So a lot of people think, oh, well, this means every 4 seconds this ability gets called. That's only true if it's the only ability. And you can do a math.random too. Now, there's different ones right here. So um, what it means is until this is true, don't don't execute the next ability. So maximum health, health or time. Health is like current health. Like right here, it kind of explains, right? The mob needs to be at 10% HP versus 10% damage. So max health is what percent HP is it at versus health, which is how much damage has it taken. And then time is just pretty self-explanatory. You just put in the amount of seconds you want. It can be 6, 7. It can be. I wouldn't do it. I would do 6 or 7. I wouldn't do 67. Um, yeah, 6, 7. But I think the meme has kind of died off now. But I still have it in the game. But this is what throws a lot of people off. And because initially when I was doing this, I was like, why is it calling the wrong ability? Because I was trying to have it heal when it was at a certain HP and it wasn't working. And I was trying to figure out why it was. But this is why it is. It's because it's saying, but see, it's also linear. So I actually don't recommend doing this for abilities. What I recommend personally, and this is just my opinion, is to have one just in the callback function, make a variable, just like I'll like just make a variable like a local variable and use like I think like math.random, what I showed, for the spawn bosses, make a random number, and then depending on what case, then call that ability. And then you can specify like how you want it called. You might have to take, mob.health, or sorry, mob.instance.health. You don't ever want to do mob.health. I know the code by default will say mob.health. You want to do mob.instance. And if you do like I guess I can show you what it looks like if I do default, but one of the things is if I go up here in the callback function, this is the thing that defines the ability. So you can make it, there's a make base part, and that's actually going to make the part. It's going to generate a part, and then what this function does, debris, it's a destroy function. So what it does is it says after this is called, it's saying right here, the first parameter is the part that you're creating, and then how many seconds until it's destroyed. So it's kind of like a queue. So it's like, okay, have this part for 10 seconds after this is called, and after 10 seconds it's going to go away, but it kind of runs it in multiple threads, obviously. So this is going to be called, and then obviously this is called right after, but 10 seconds after, this part will disappear. So what telegraph does is this actually displays the part that this displays the telegraph right here. It applies the telegraph color to this part, and I think it even like makes it bright for like 1 second to let you know that it's coming. And then what register hit detection does, this one I find a little complicated, but you can always look under attack utils and it'll explain it. But so you have the base part, the damage, and the duration. So what it does is so this is the part that you want to detect if the player has touched it. And this is the damage, and then this is the second. But what's confusing is that this is less than 1 in the default. So why that is, so if it's greater than 1, and I can just explain it by showing you this too. So this function right here is what allows the damage to happen. And then this calls the damage function right here. So if it's less than or equal to 1, it's a fraction. So it damages your max HP. So it's like, so, it will always deplete 50% of your HP if you say 0.5. No matter how strong you are, it will always deplete 50% of your HP. That's what it means. But if it's greater than 1, it will do that exact damage. But see, it takes in account for armor defenses and miss chances. So you could actually miss it. I did like a math.huge and the Yellow Raven Painter. So, in one of the abilities, the purple projectile. The one where he throws the purple projectile, um, you get you can miss it, with the miss chances, but if it like actually registers the damage, you're dead because it does like 99999 damage. I know it's a lot, but I'm saying like but like right here, it really just overrides the function right here. That's all it does. But yeah, it's yeah, see, it just sets it to the damage otherwise. So it's really easy and understandable of how this works. And then see the telegraph, that's what you call to show the part that it telegraphs. I mean, maybe I can show you some advanced ones possibly, but like the problem for a lot of these abilities is I spent a while coding them, and so it kind of feels a little unfair giving them away. I know I sound greedy, but BW King, I'll tell you, he's the same way. When we code hard on something, we don't really want it like, I mean, unless if it's like a fix to something. But I'm just explaining to you. But like, let's do a goblin. So we're gonna go to so what I usually do is I do Control D. This duplicates it, and I'll call it like goblin, right? So to do this mob, we're gonna code some abilities. So let's say we want the telegraph to be green, right? So because he's a goblin. So I'm just going to select this. You're not going to see the color, but I'm just selecting green. You can alternatively just type it in. So you don't ever want to like touch this, and really you really want an if statement that says if humanoid found, like you want a player and humanoid. Um, but like let's say we want this to be the first ability, right? We could make a second ability, and I can show this in action with what I'm talking about. So if I do Goblin and I make a second one, like let's say the time is, can I do random? I'm about to copy and paste it in to show you what I'm talking about. So you always want this right here. This means to just end it if you don't find the mob.instance. So if you don't have the mob like part, then just return end. Um, it's just a checker. But like let's say I mean using this logic right here, you can actually make a lot. But see, you want mob.instance right here. And I guess this works too, because it's nearest torso. But if you want to do anything with the mob, you want to do mob.instance. But what I'm going to show you real quick right here is I actually not going to show you the poison spell just because but it's very easy to do. You can just do like different, you can just do there's an instance.new particle emitter, and then you just set it to a asset ID, and then you can just specify the color and light duration just right in the code, and then you can just do a, a connection. It's run service.heartbeat, and then in a for loop you can check for the distance the damage. But right here, what I'm gonna the code I'm gonna copy in and give you this this is how you do KR damage. And I know this is saying errors, but I'm not going to give code to how I did the mist. But basically, what this does right here, this is the humanoid root part. And obviously, you need to have a player. So you have to define, you have to define the player variable. Um, and that's about it. Um, yeah, you want to have a player character. Or but yeah, you want to have player defined. Oh, that's why. Okay, the for loop is that it does it to all players. So yeah, I didn't give you the whole code. That's the reason why. But something like this, and then it simply looks at the distance, and then if it's less than or equal to the radius, which you define the radius as how big the part is, obviously. So when you make the part, you define the radius, and then the radius is I actually just defined the radius and then used it to make the part. But you can do whatever, you can specify it. But basically, what this is just if it collides, take damage. But this is the KR damage right here, is the take damage function. And then I had a variable for damage per tick and the tick rate because the whole poison thing runs on ticks, but I'm not going to show it to you in this video. Um, and then I'm just trying to think of what exactly I can do. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and change the color just for the purpose of, so you see how the color was saying telegraph color? That's what it calls it from here, the configuration. But I'm going to just, I'm just going to change it to this. I'm going to make this red just to show it's going to do the same thing. But I just want to show like, I'm doing this for the purpose of the cycle thing here. So, it was math.random. I couldn't remember. So, yeah, I know. I'm doing 6, 7, but yeah, that's basically what it does. So if I select this goblin now and do mob config, that should be good. Yeah, so now if I test this out, and I'm gonna go ahead and test it like right here. Um, yeah. So I believe it's set to like 5 seconds, right? So see, it worked. And then it did the okay, maybe I'll go back. Maybe that's what I did. Or I put mob.instance. But basically, I'm showing you with the attack cycle. So in the math.random I showed you, you just do that in if statements. Like if it equals this number, do this. If it equals this number, do this. And then this way it's not in a consistent linear cycle and you know what's coming next. But see, 1, 2, 3, Mississippi, 4, Mississippi, 5, Mississippi, 6, Mississippi, 7. See, then it called it 3, Mississippi, 4, Mississippi. And I believe, see how that one was called sooner? So if green, see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See? That's what I mean. It doesn't call the same ability, it goes to the next ability. So that's how it works. It's probably all I'm going to do for now in this video, but if you want to see more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I will probably have more to show, more more things, because this kit is massive, and there's probably some add-ons. If I end up liking some add-ons, I can show those. It's really good and really cool kit. And yeah, if you want to see more tutorials like this, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check out my other channels. Until next time, Waiting Coast out.